You got to do the whole, the whole thing. You got to be, smooth with it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denonu, and I'm here with the homie.
Hey, Jolly. What's up?
And welcome to the NDP. In this video here, we're going to be talking about the Minnesota governor filing civil rights charges against the Minneapolis Police Department and an investigation that they're going to do for the next several months. Basically what's going on, without getting too in depth with the verbiage here, is that they filed civil rights charges and they're starting up an investigation into the police department. I think they said it was for the past 10 years they're going to be going back and try to find any evidence of corruption, racism, pretty much anything that isn't by the book. And I'm not sure, they didn't mention anything that if they were going to be charging any specific people or anything like that, but this is just them putting it out there saying that we're going to look into the police station's history and see all the dirt that we can find. And then I'm assuming based on whatever they find, they're going to rewrite the rule books as far as their policies, their procedures. They're going to take a look into all of that, not just, the cop incidents and stuff like that, but the procedures, the trainings, all of that stuff, pretty much everything that they do as police officers. So this is, nothing but a good thing. Is it going to change anything? In my opinion, at least in the short term, no. This investigation may take like a year and a half to actually fully process. And then it's going to take more time when they go to enact changes because of it. But
yeah,
if changes are pending, still, that's a good thing too. And I wish we had more to talk about it, but it's really just it. This just broke yesterday, so it's not super current, and it doesn't have a whole lot of details, but it does just go into them just stating that. And the fact that they stated it quickly, they didn't wait, they didn't do an investigation and then publicly announce something later in like a PR statement that this is right after the fact and everything is still going on. They immediately was like, no, we're going to look into their history. We're going to do an investigation and see all the dirt that we can find and then make changes accordingly. So,
I mean, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. that they decided to do that. I would also say that, damn, I guess better late than never.
Yeah.
I would hope though that it's not just the rules and regulations, but they're actually going to go back into every police officer's profile.
Yeah. And
see like comb through that stuff, because I don't necessarily think that it's the system, like the police system, that's the problem. I think it's the people that you put in charge of that system.
Yeah.
If you have supposedly a good system that's supposed to be just and all that other just and freedom and all other shit, but you put somebody who doesn't value that for all people and to enforce that, then you will get issues like this. And that's what we have now. So you can change the system and rules all you want, but if you still have people that are not geared to follow those rules, then you still gonna have the exact same problems that you had yesteryear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all well and good to say we're going to go back and look at policies and stuff like that. But what you should be doing is going back and looking at who you hired in the first place.
Yeah. Because,
I mean, it's really easy to be like, well, I didn't know that he was this kind of person. I didn't know that this person was a rapist, or, they had these issues. And now they're actually working with kids. How many times have you seen that? Where a teacher has been teaching for 15 years or whatever, no incidences, and then they find out that he had a past like that, and then they let him go.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that we need now. It's okay, you need to find out which ones have been racially charged, stuff like racially profiling, who has all the negative reviews, that kind of thing, and then judge those reviews accordingly. Somebody who was abrasive, or just, he cursed me out, but he didn't say N-word. It's maybe he was just having a bad day like everyone else, right? But when you have someone that's
that one
on their
guy,
profile,
17 incidents, that's a problem.
17 incidences. It's like, all right, no, that's too much.
Yeah.
I don't care. You could be working 20 years, but if you do one racist thing a year, it's still wrong.
Still too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would have to. I would assume. I would assume they would have to. I mean, maybe it's something they can't do, but I would assume that they would gut the whole police department and rehire people, that didn't have any issues or problems. But that's not the reality we live in. I mean, I want all the racist people to get fired out of the police department, but they can't do that. That's like laying off half your workforce. They just not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So and
hey,
whatever evidence.
Time.
And whatever evidence that that they find, can they act on it? It could be one of those things where like, oh, that happened 10 years ago. Are they gonna act on evidence and stuff that was from 10 years ago? I mean, let's say like kind of like if you charge somebody with
cancel culture.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But that can be right or wrong, and that's a whole other video. But
that's true. Yeah.
It's like charging somebody in court. If you charge somebody, take them to court, and they get off in some, you can't charge them with the same thing again. That's double jeopardy. Maybe there's something else, maybe there's something like that that's in the cops' books where it's like, okay, if you didn't, we looked at this 10 years ago and we found it okay, and they didn't get any kind of trouble for it, then can they look back at that and be like, oh, well, we're going to do something now? They're probably not going to do that, But
so I believe that, okay, let's say something happened 10 years ago and it was racially profiled, like a racially charged situation. You see that one instance. Now everyone knows that anybody can be falsely accused of anything at any time, and you still have to take the statement.
Yeah.
But if you can find patterns, and that's the thing with most companies, nothing really happens until you find a pattern. I remember working for the city. Oh my goodness, man. Like my manager was like, you know how hard it is to get fired from the city? And it was a lot of issues going on. And I had to talk to my manager one time. I was like, yo, why are these people still working here? I thought that if these kind of things happen, that it would be just easy to let people go because everyone's looking for like a city job. And he was like, yeah, but here's the thing. You know how long it took for you to get hired for the city? And it took me like 4 months. I had filled out for the application. No, 6 months. I filled out for the application. I forgot that I even filled out for it, and then they called me. And once you go through all the paperwork, you have to get like 2 different types of background checks. You have to get a credit check. And because I was working at the airport, I had to get a federal background check. And after you do all of that, now you have these different departments above you. So for me, it was like laborer, or like, I think sanitation services. And then above that, there's like airport management. And then above that, there's like an airport executive level. And then above that is like the level of where the airport manager of the entire airport sits. So if you fire somebody, they literally have to get a signature all the way up the chain. Even the airport manager has to sign off on a janitor getting fired. And it's so much paperwork and it's such a long system that they would just rather not do it.
Yeah.
So they would do anything possible.
Yeah, and if I would assume that if they let somebody go, then like you said, then they gotta wait 6 months to hire somebody to fill whatever his job is.
Yes. So they were sweeping they would sweep fights under the rug. They would sweep like theft under the rug, and they would just like switch them around to different shifts, that kind of thing. Or write them up, but the write-up goes away like ever so many months. So even those write-ups, the write-ups have to be for the exact same thing 3 times before they let you go. So literally, you can have an attendance problem. That's one write-up. You can have a anger issue, like a issue where you were yelling at another employee. That's a write-up.
But that doesn't count.
You can have
that doesn't count for the second.
It doesn't count.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, it would be like 3-4 different write-ups. So you had people that was like, basically every 3 months when it falls off, they can just do it again. It's like as long as they didn't keep doing the same thing.
It's like the YouTube strike system, except YouTube's is better.
Exactly. So they were like, he said that the only time we can fire somebody is if we see a pattern. So if these people, like that police officer, if he had 17 issues, no one is saying what kind of issues they were because they're not going to release that information.
Yeah.
If it was 17 racial issues, then that's a pattern. You need to get them out. But if it's like one or two issues here or there about racism, you know, and there's no one else to like fact check if he actually said these things, then he gets to stay. And that's also the similar type of issue that we're dealing with, is that if they have these many things that they can do and get away with because there's no pattern there, then you'll still have those same kind of racially charged people. And that's why I was saying before that if you don't have like a test for them to take on ethics, on morals, on empathy, and that kind of stuff, then you're still going to get the same people over and over and over again.
Yeah. And if so even if you have if the person doing the hiring is of that racist way of thinking, he's going to hire like-minded people. Or if he sees somebody come in and they're of his way of thinking and they don't have no problems, no, you know, nothing that would stop them from getting hired, he's going to hire people that's just like that because that's how he got in there. So it's a way of like, what do they call it when you pay something forward? You know, it's like something like that, where it's like he, you know, maybe that's how he got brought in, so he's doing it to somebody else. So
yeah. The other thing is that the justice system in general is very, very archaic.
Yeah. Because
it's still based on like the base principles of like the founding fathers and all that stuff, and we can see, or laws and government, and we see how corrupt that is from time to time. And I think that if that system found a way to take a note from, unfortunately, corporations, where corporations are like, when we do hiring internally, we use outsourcing. The outsource, they'll go to a company that's like, all they do is hire for companies.
Yep. Like,
so they're biased. Yeah, they're biased completely. All they need is, do you know how to do the job? Do you have the skills? Cool, you're hired. Now you can't have someone like that. It's like, oh, I like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Yeah.
You know, other internal people hire for the group because they want more people that's just like them, that can you know, keep their mouth shut. You know, that can do the job without asking questions. Like when you have other companies out there that's outside the government, that's like, oh, we want you to ask questions. We want you to have feedback because that's how we make our program better.
Yeah.
So I would love to see this kind of thing. This is, don't get me wrong, great start in the right direction. I just need more places other than Minneapolis to do this.
They should do this all across the country, to be honest.
All across the country. I would love that.
Yeah.
You want to create jobs for people? There you go. You just created more jobs for people. So now you get to, you know, hire those data analysts and stuff like that that can actually do that and look through these files and actually get down to it, like, okay, these are people that need to be cut. This is your expenditures. This is how many people that you can find within a time frame. And then from there, when they see that, they can start going with, okay, when we hire these people, how will we know that we're not getting the same people back? Oh, that's when you hire those other people that know how to do, you know, the personality tests, that know how to do the mental fortitude test, those kind of things. And then you start thinking about the other rules of maybe you can raise the cost of like the police salary and then start reducing how many years they have to stay on the force. So instead of a 30-year till retirement, you have a 15-year or 20-year till retirement.
So
you'll get more people.
So you're saying, like, if they're doing everything they're supposed to and they're doing their job for 15 years, then they can retire sooner than later, essentially.
Exactly. Or you will at least promote them to get off the street. Like, so that way you won't have police that's out there for 30 plus years getting hardened, getting PTSD and stuff like that because they're because they're getting shot at all the time. Now you're treating it like the military was treated. If you do so many years of this active service, because look, I know it gets hard. I know police officers do not have the best job possible. You know what I mean? No. I know that. I know there's people out there that makes it something scary every day that you put on that badge, right? So this is the kind of stuff that you have to think about. You can't do that for 30 years and be okay. Some people can, some people can't. So you have to restart, you have to rethink, how long do you want this officer to be out there? How long do you want to put them in jeopardy? Because as time ticks on, that there's a thin line between, I've seen a lot of stuff in my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff starts looking similar.
I mean, that could be one of the reasons too, a lot of the police brutality too. That and a lot of it comes from the older white establishment when it comes to policing. It could be that too. Like certain systems it's just like racism in this country. A lot of those police departments and stuff was made back in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and 50s. So it's been fucked up from the start, and it's been built on a fucked up foundation. So I mean, it's in order to change that, you have to change everything about how policing is done, essentially. And no, it's not going to completely fix the problem, but like you said, I mean, give incentives. How about this? You have a 15-year run with no incidents. I'm not saying you get a pay raise at the end of that 15, but let's say if you go a year, you don't have no incidents, you get a bump in pay. That's an incentive to not fuck up and not, to do your job supposedly. Hey, you have a good record, every year you get a pay raise. You have an incident, guess what? Your pay gets bumped down. Treat it like the Halo 3 ranking system. I
love that, man. Yeah. So I mean, you can start losing your stripes at that point. Like, okay, well, you're no longer a sergeant. You got bumped down because of this incident.
Yep. And if you wanted to, or you want to quit your job, quit. There's plenty of people probably want to be cops, and maybe that would inspire people to be better.
I think that pay is a smart idea. Okay, maybe not necessarily like taking away somebody's title, but because like a title thing, it's like bumping the manager down. Yeah. And that manager could be actually a good manager, but just like a really shitty cop. Yeah. But he's managing it. So I would say that the pay thing, great idea. Like there's that cap where you start at, and you can't go beneath that cap. But it's just enough to be like, it's just enough incentive to be like, okay, the more good I do, the more I get paid. Just like
I need my bonus at the end of the year.
Just it's like car insurance. They do it now. You drive good for like so many years, then your premium starts going down. Yeah, it's like shit, same thing.
Yeah, and who doesn't want more money? You could be racist or not. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, can I beat down this black dude today? But it's like, damn, I need that money to pay those bills, though. It's like, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get that money. So, I don't know.
Get down, man. I got that Netflix thing coming up. Sir, can you please stand down?
Yeah, like I think you need some kind of no, I don't know. A lot of that depends on how much money the state makes and everything like that. So they probably can't do that. But I think they need some kind of incentivized program that makes people want to act right. And I think that body cams are helping a lot, but I think we need more observation, like within the department, not just on the officers doing the arresting. Like body camming and technology can be a whole lot better when it comes to surveillance of police. So I think that could be bumped up a little bit better too. Like, I don't know if you heard about it, but I read an article where I forget, it was in some state, but they was like a police chief during this, like over the past couple days, got fired because certain officers did something and their body cams were offline. Like they turned them off, or they weren't turned on when they was out doing their job or something. And somebody seen that and they fired them. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't fact check, but I just heard that. So if body cams,
part of the police chief,
yeah. So I mean, maybe I could find it when we're done with this, but it's one of those things where you have to, the policing of police can be better. It's not perfect yet, not by a long shot.
I mean, there's one thing to fire the police chief for the officers' body cams not being on, At the same time, it's not like he can go out there and force everyone to turn their stuff on, especially if they don't have systems in place to see
that's what I'm saying.
Officers' cameras on. You know, it's like at that point, it's the officer, not necessarily the person that's in charge of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because what happens when you put another speaker in there?
Mm-hmm. But that's what I was saying. The technology has to be like technology. If they wanted to, they can lock all that shit down. You can make it so that every officer has to have a body cam. It connects to a computer server, and when something goes out, an alarm goes off. Like they can make it so you can't turn it off. You know, but they have to put those systems in place. Why have body cams that you can't? That you turn off? That's stupid anyway. They could have the camera feed live stream to a server somewhere, so that if the officer removes it from their shirt, they hey, he just took off his body cam. They can do a whole lot with that they're just not doing. Like the cameras is cool, but like they help a whole lot, but it's not as perfect as it could be. I think we need a little bit more of that, because if you can monitor, kind of like what you were saying about your Amazon computer, where they monitor you 100% when you use that computer, they can do the same thing with any sort of technology. And I would say this, okay, well, you can't do it because they're all around the city. Like all those cop cars, they connect radios and everything else to the internet, so they could do all that shit. So you could do that too. Mm-hmm. There's no excuse for them not to do it other than decide, we don't want to waste the money to do it.
LAPD brought to you by GoPro.
There you go.
GoPro ain't gonna never do that kind of shit.
But I'm just saying.
Nah.
I mean, you could. I mean, it's like they could.
Yeah, no, you could. Yeah,
they could make that a whole lot better, and make it automated and stuff like that, where they can go and check in everything. Like the moment you put that body cam on, you have to have a straight recording for 8 hours or however long your workday is. And then
remember, that was the issue with Google Glass.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you're recording and you're sending it straight to file where you can see it later.
Yeah,
you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can definitely do it.
Yeah, it means that's every security system that records to a DVD player or to an online server. That's the same thing. And then,
but you know what?
They would have to have teams that would check all the footage and stuff like that too. So more jobs.
That's a whole nother video.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually found the article you were talking about. We can turn that to a whole nother video.
Okay. But all right, fellas, that's just what we had to say about this Minnesota governor here. It's a step in the right direction, but we need to start sprinting in the right direction, essentially. You got anything more to say about it, Jolly?
No, man. No, that's it.
All right, YouTube. If you guys want us to talk about anything specific, any other articles, any kind of media out there,
anything
at all, even who's your favorite porn stars? We got you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you know what? That's a little eerie that we were on the same wavelength, because I said hentai and you said porn stars, and I'm like,
we're here, man. We're here. We're here.
Same thing. Yeah. We're here. Just don't look me in the eyes when we're doing the Eiffel Tower.
All right, YouTube. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.